What's up YouTube and welcome to Trundle Swain. Now before you ask me, but why not play Gnar in this list? Isn't he just straight up better than Trundle? Let me explain to you. This list is mainly intended to be a meta counter, and the meta mostly consists of Demacia decks as well as Darkness decks. Against Demacia, Trundle trades incredibly well, especially against all of those rally piles. They don't play a lot of combat tricks and they are forced to attack into you again and again, so the sturdy stat line along with the regeneration keyword will do wonders there. Kind of the same can be said for Darkness. Gnar is very easy to remove in base form, especially if your opponent knows you play it, whereas Trundle is a lot sturdier and the pillar can threaten the opponent's champions as well in the later stages of the game. Now with that in mind, let's take a quick look at the rest of this deck, and probably the main reason we're playing this is a Ravenous Flock. It's great in the current meta. It hits most of the key engines as well as the backline champions like Senna Veigar, like Misfortune, Durant Sculptor, Patricide Broadwing can be very annoying, and even in the face Swarm decks, cards like Gleaming Lanter and Tristana, Bandle City Mayor. Especially against Swarm decks, another key card here is going to be Blighted Ravine. They do often run Ranger's Resolve, but of course they won't have time to ever play Ranger's Resolve because Blighted Ravine goes off at round start. Very effective against these Swarm decks. We also play Avalanches and Ice Shards, but they're a bit more situational, of course, because they can fall prey to a card like Ranger's Resolve. Now, especially for Pantheon decks, we also play a bunch of techs. Arachnoid Sentry, of course, is amazing to stop one of their big Overwhelm units from hitting, and enabling Ravenous Flock, even though they might have cards like Guiding Touch to stop their units from being damaged. But if we can ensure their units are sturdily damaged, or we can re-damage them with something like an Ice Shard, then Noxian Guillotine and Scorched Earth can totally dominate the Pantheon matchups. Three Sisters is very good as well. Entomb will permanently remove an attached Yuumi if you entomb something like a White Flame with a Yuumi on top. The Flash Freeze also combines very cutely with Culling Strike in those matchups. And Culling Strike, of course, also hits Darkness super hard. It's our best way to remove Veigar as well as Twisted Catalyzer. But it's also incredibly good against Scout decks in the current meta, because Scouts usually want to play Durant Sculptor on turn 2 and then play MF on turn 3, which means they're not banking mana for Sharp Sight to play around Culling Strike. So it's a cute meta attack, and a lot of people don't really see it coming as a 2-off. Since we will be contesting the board most of the time, we also play some copies of Troll Chant. Our only early units are a Verosan Sentry, Kindly Tavern Keeper. This survives AoE effects, and it's also very nice against aggro decks. Sentry, of course, also a flexible early unit. Babbling, Bjerg, and Whispered Words as some minor value tools just to make sure we don't run out of steam. But it doesn't really happen very often, because as soon as we find a Leviathan, it also draws a high value card in Swain. And additionally, Trundle also generates an Ice Pillar, which is additional value. So in most matchups in the current meta, we don't tend to run out of steam. And I think the power spikes and the finishers are pretty evident in this one. Around turn 5 and 6, we can play our two champions. There's not a ton of effective fearsome blockers around, so Swain can force some very good defensive blocks. And you might think at first sight, like sometimes Swain can be a bit hard to level in this list, but sometimes a single Blighted Ravine will also just make him immediately level up. It's a bit inconsistent, but it's pretty crazy. And for our finishers, we of course have a level Trundle, but most interesting and most consistent of all, we have the Leviathan plus Swain combo, stun locking our opponent's board, continuously pinging their nexus, and then going for one big final swing. That stares as an additional tech choice that can be really neat against Demacia decks and Swarm decks, even in the late game, against Yordles and Arms decks in general. Some other tech choices that are worth considering would be a card like Death's Hand. Especially good if you run into a lot of Twisted Catalyzers. And if you want some more early board presence, you can consider running Everosan Trappers to get an early Enraged Yeti onto the board, which can of course also completely carry you in some board-based matchups like Demacia matchups. Now, I will say that this deck is very effective and very fun as a meta counter, and will probably be able to win you quite a couple of games on the ladder. But be aware that if the meta shifts too much away from Demacia, this deck can also fall off a lot. For example, if people start playing a bunch of Equinoxes and Blighted Mystics, we lose our main win condition in the Leviathan. And at that point, we should probably consider either switching decks or building this differently, like for example Gnar instead instead of Trundle, also adding some Pharens as finishers or something like that. But I'm expecting this list to be solid until at least the end of the month, when the next big balance patch hits and the meta maybe gets shuffled afterwards. But yeah, until then, feel free to try this out and enjoy.
Is it the mustache? Who knows?
Let's go. Yeah, Trundle feels a bit greedy if we play 6-5 drops. If we had a better hand, I would keep Trundle. Is power creep inevitable in order to keep interest in new cards? That's a really good question. That's something you should ask Ruben Zoo. I think it's, like, business-wise it makes sense, right? You don't have to, but if you want to increase interest and sell the new cards, then yeah, it does make sense.
Nothing escapes my watch.
I sculpt what others only dream of. No prey.
Bye-bye! Power creep is a lazy way to keep a game fresh. I'm not even sure if I would say so. It feels like it's almost necessary. Like, it's not 100% absolutely necessary, but it's very close to it. I think it's block into Ravine this turn into Trundle, and we should have full control of the game. That makes it even easier for us. Surprising decision there to pass. Like, we don't have to play Trundle this turn, but now our opponent can't really develop in their turn. I don't want to yeet this guy in first because there's the potential for a rally. Why does this Friday let's not run Gnar? You could run Gnar in this. But like, Trundle is very good against Demacia. For what it's trying to do, I think no Gnar makes more sense. I feel like this game's almost over. Scorched your own Ravine to assert dominance. Brilliant. I keep that in mind for next time. You think doubling the HP, attack, and removal damage of everything in the game would make it easier to balance? Not quite sure how to answer this. Do I play TFT? Casually. I'll try it on stream soon though. Could just tank 6. It's not too bad. But I want her to be damaged, right? Then I am forcing myself to guillotine next turn. No swing? Okay, respecting Flock, I guess it kind of makes sense.
Let's take this outside.
Wondering if Entomb this turn is good. My opponent always open attacks next round. I could Entomb and Björk. But if I... Then they don't have to open attack. Then it's the... I could go hit that stairs, obliterate landmark. It's really cool play. I'm not sure if it's the best, but it's really cool. I'd go for it.
Ancient things trapped in the ice. Nothing a little steel can't soothe.
Dangerous water. Fortune favors the bold. The ocean is no
Double rally isn't really a thing, right? It's a fairly expensive way to remove Citria, but this probably goes like 3 for 1 on the board. So we should be fine here. Yeah, like doubling numbers, of course, yeah. There's ups and downs to it. There's a reason why a lot of players, a lot of companies rather, opt to not do it. And there's a reason why, for example, World of Warcraft at some point cut their numbers in half or like tenfold or whatever. Like they reset numbers recently. Should I be scared of double rally? Not quite sure. How long can Runeterra last? Whew. I'm not sure how to answer this. Trundle, Sentry, Flock. If this is another Aegis, I might be doomed. I should probably take the block here, to be honest. Just in case that this is an Aegis. Oh, actually, Flock still goes through. I forgot about it. The way the stack unfolds, if I open up with Sentry at least. Can not level up Misfortune? They can't. They already used their scout attack.
I gotta show you the sights of Bilgewater. The sights are fine. The smells, on the other hand.
Okay, it's only Sharp Side that wrecks me. I guess Brightstate Protector would have been a defensive play. Oh, good players. Good players all around. I think we live though. Unless they top decked another rally.
All eyes on me.
I need to play this right now though, I can't go for the Trundle flip this turn. Don't really have anything else to do with my mana. If I had other plays this turn, it would have made sense to not block with Tavern Keeper, just to not have to invest the Troll Chant here. But since I would just be burning mana otherwise anyway, I think this makes sense. Okay, I think we've got control of the game. Unless they top deck MF, of course. Feels like Swain is better. Kind of forces a block. Or forces like Sharp Side or whatever my opponent drew. Citria is the only unit that blocks well. What's up, Seth? Ah, we're playing against a gamer. In this case, it's better to pull the scout unit, because this is gonna get scary attacks in twice. Probably swing with this so I can use Scorched Earth mana this turn. Makes even more sense, right?
best too.
This almost solo kills me though, next round. Tajdin Maschine! Thank you for the prime, appreciate it. Those navigators really put in work so far. So Rally beats me, MF beats me. Ooh. Sharp side beats me.
Order, sir. Bring forth our army.
This is our way.
Wasn't it better to block the other way around? You're right, yeah. I could have saved 1 HP on Swain.
Return fire!
I mean, now if I avalanche, I don't lose to Aegis anymore. Let's do it. Sick. Let's go. Yeah, that avalanche top deck was sweet. That was key. No rain for opponent. Naked rain would be ridiculous. They don't main deck it. This is an interesting matchup. This one's, yeah. Very interactive, very high skill based. I don't really like keeping Culling Strike against a deck that probably plays multiple shaped stones. I could go for the Gamble. But yeah, I don't like making decisions off of assuming my opponent misplays. Like, they might go 1-drop into Akshan here. In that case, it would have been correct to keep Culling Strike. But like, a high-level player will often pass turn 1. Keep Shapestone on 2, or at least bluff Shapestone on 2. We're getting punished here, unfortunately. Scorch would probably hit the palace. What is the program I use to record games? OBS. OBS Studio. Oh my goodness. I have to Could let him swing and then Scorched and Ravine next turn. If my opponent has a rally, it's annoying. I think I do that. Is there a better way to record your stuff casually than OBS? Outplayed by Overwolf is pretty nice for care about first landmark. We prevent an Akshan flip. I guess this is the second Akshan already. Like, preventing Akshan flip means no Absolver. It's pretty big. I mean, we do care about the first landmark though, to be honest. It's still a predict draw. Plus the level up. Also, like, Ravine is better in our turn because it includes making our opponent's next turn development awkward. I kind of really like Scorched right now. Super unlikely. Like, our opponent would have to blow a lot of resources to get this through. And they can't use Shaped Stone. They can't use Single Combat right now. When was this deck made? Don't know. The concept has been around for a while. Like, Swain Trundle goes back a couple patches. My opponent might invest in Rally here. It's not bad. I might actually die to a Rally. Doesn't the landmark spawn again when Akshan attacks? Yeah, that's why we're trying to remove him right now.
You you've got a problem.
Oh, that's pretty good for us. Unless they have a rally. Let's go. That might have been too risky on my end. I'm not sure if that was well played.
It's a living.
We don't really have... Like, we're too far behind on tempo to draw here. I think we just let this go through and play Swain. Or we could go Tavern Keeper, maybe Sentry Pink's Spell Shield. Next turn, Swain, Everrosen Sentry. That looks good, actually, just mana efficiency-wise.
What's behind this door, you think? Deadly traps, angry guardians, bunch of gold.
I don't mind keeping Sivir alive for a bit. So that our opponent can't replay another level spell shielded Sivir. So we'll probably remove her the next time she attacks. Oh, what a waste. Holy cow. I'm confused. Anyway, I just need these 4 cards in hand.
Nothing escapes my watch.
I mean, the obvious rally, but what are you trying to accomplish? Insert it? Doesn't really make sense, though.
Fear the power you do not see. Indecision is the first of many weaknesses.
I'm curious. I wonder if my opponent actually has a plan or if they're just freestyling. I don't know.
Business as usual.
Thinking about how to order. What? I'm lost.
Let's talk about your step. Patience is a type
Oh, I have to put this here. I'm silly. I mean, I could not break the spell shield, but I don't think that makes sense. Now I don't care about my opponent holding another Sivir because she won't be leveled up anyway.
after the backrow.
Oh, my opponent kept it so that they have a fearsome blocker, of course. That actually somewhat makes sense. But like, how do you win this game? The board deficit against a deck that outvalues you if you don't have the Akshan landmark. I don't have to stun this yet. Let's see if my opponent plays a bigger threat. So right now I just have good blocks lined up. I guess that works. 3 sisters. I'm so gifted at this game. Punished. Cataclysm would have gone through even if the unit is stunned. Player diff, I know, right? Just the superior skills.
My conflicts end only one way.
What other champion than Aesol would you play in a Targon's Peak deck? Probably Zoe to be able to thin your hand really effectively. You could go Trundle. Trundle is a nice tool against Demacia. Stall a bit longer. Yuumi Panth. This matchup depends a lot on how many guiding touches they play and how many repings we have, basically.
These old eyes still see far and clear.
Ooh, I like that. Our opponent's missing so many Pantheon triggers. I know we're burning 1 point of mana and they aren't. It's still an uptrade for us, technically. We're still benefiting more than our opponent does.
Ready the torches.
Interesting. Because we're getting closer to our power turns while they're technically not. Because their power turn is whenever Pantheon flips. Okay, we have all the end game that we need in our hand. Now we just need to draw ice shards. Oh, that also works. Feels like my opponent holds at least one Pantheon. Like, they're being very inefficient with the fated buffs. Should maybe swing with Björk here. I'm not quite sure. Multiple guiding touches is scary. Feels like we risk it, right? We could just freeze the dude though. Like, we could freeze here, Ravine next turn, and then go Guillotine. Plays around another copy of Guiding Touch. And Guiding Touch is a fairly likely card for my opponent to hold. But then we lose a key card in Three Sisters. Could just Troll Chant. Although Troll Chant's also a good Pantheon ping. That's a tough decision. I think I like Troll Chant. Guiding Touch is mostly a 2-off, but the way our opponent's been playing, they must have cards like Pantheon or Guiding Touch in hand, right? Is this a control deck? Yes. I also tried to build Swain Trundle, but I made so many changes during the day that I think I made it worse by trying to counter everything. At this point, Guillotine should be good. It's only bad against Bastion or Friendship. Could freeze. Seems worse. We don't have to keep Trundle alive. A 2-off, you said. Interesting. Hand read skills on fleek, though. I can't activate Swain's stun, that's sad. Could let that thing hit me for 8. I can contest White Flame effectively. I can call it if my opponent tries to buff it with Freeze. Kind of want my opponent to slam Zenith on this first though.
They're out there. I'll spot 'em.
You can do this. You're a Duran.
I think that's already worth a Culling Strike, right? But we could also play it mid-combat. Yeah, I just don't see my opponent playing Zenith here. Might as well do it now to not give our opponent an end round. It's a bit of a risky endeavor.
To death I go. Look out for reef. Light the signal fires.
Okay, Troll Chant mana is cute to have. Kinda hoping for no rally here.
I'm still learning, but I'll help if I
And of course no Leviathan removal. Although that's possible with a Troll Chant protection.
Order, sir. Bring forth our
Tough is really annoying for me here. Can't double flock to threaten this anymore.
I stand this day, a man against all gods.
Okay, if I pass, only this guy gets stunned. Which I think would be fine if we Troll Chant block Pantheon. If I Ravenous Flock, we lose to a rally on the spots. We always lose to a rally though, right? I don't think we can stop a rally. We additionally lose to single combat or Cataclysm. No, wait, we always lose to Cataclysm because Cataclysm hits Swain. So I think we play one Flock, trying to stun both of them. No. I can Flock Swain if my opponent tries Cataclysm. Okay, that makes it so much easier. Now we just level Swain. Both of them will be stunned.
After the battle.
I don't think there's much my opponent can do about this, except for, of course, drawing removal. They really need a card like Cataclysm. Oh my goodness, I jinxed it, didn't I? But if they target Swain, I can flock him to shut it down. Let's hope for the best with the spell shield. With the Troll Chant. No quick attack means we can threaten the Pantheon though. The issue is if we remove him this turn, our opponent can replay another Pantheon. Oof. I still think it's correct to threaten him. I'm not sure though. I could just play Levy and next turn... if I try to remove him this turn, no, it's probably better to just try to keep the stun chain alive, right? There's two ways of going this. If I play Avalanche, then Ravenous Flock, I will not have the stun lock anymore. And Saga Seeker will hit me. So it's probably just Levy.
Patience is a tactician's destination in sight. Bring these lands to their knees.
So awkward that my own Swain dies off of Avalanche.
What's next?
Not pulling the pillar looks like trolling.
Counterattack!
Remove 3/2 for lethal. You mean with a flock? That works. Avalanche double flock next round, I suppose. Yeah, Avalanche replays Swain. In that case, we swing first. So one single flock is enough. Has to be the best play. So we lose to Rally and Cataclysm. Rally is not a must main deck though. The issue is I'm not quite sure if the Saga Seeker just one-shots us. Another Pantheon draw is devastating as well. You gotta be kidding me. What a gamer. Oh! What a gamer. That was the wrong Swain. Doesn't matter. Ah, it was such a good game up to that point. Pantheon so fun and interactive. Fated is a stupid keyword, kind of. Fated in combination with Pantheon, I don't know. Something about this deck just makes it feel incredibly uninteractive. Gnar, Sivir, Sejuani. That's just like Rick or Rex style overwhelm. Sentry is gonna be nuts. Ravine is probably good for turn 4. I think it's Pantheon himself. It's kind of both. Like Saga Seeker and White Flame can also become very stupid. It's like it just turns games into either you have an answer or you don't. Like this super polarized type of strategy. Fated is a fine keyword if... like in decks that are not going all in on Fated, if that makes sense. Oh, this Ravine is gonna be bonkers. Ravine insta-level Swain here. In low elo, open pass would work wonders here. Looks like hell of a waste to me. Is that worth Culling Striking? I don't know what my opponent wants to do. They can't Battle Fury next round. Feels like an okay Culling Strike. Because later on, Culling Strike is always going to be threatened by... Ah, that was probably bad, right? Well, no, Shaped Stone is not enabled if they play it. Later on, it might get threatened by Battle Fury or Three Sisters into Fury of the North. Just chump block this. Kind of want to go Swain into open attack next round. I could go Sentry, keep Whispered Words mana, hope to find Sentry Flock. That's probably better. Like, I feel like they're gonna slam Overwhelm on Sivir. As long as we take care of Sivir, we should win the game. Ooh, no Overwhelm. Interesting. I could still do the Swain thing, though. It's a flock. Once Swain is online.
Vision to see what others cannot.
As soon as they tap under Battle Fury, it gets much more awkward for them. Then we still need to respect Three Sisters though. Okay, that looks like a pass. Like, we could swing with just the 3-1, I don't think it's worth it. Battle Fury incoming. I feel like that's technically... maybe it was a mistake on my end, but I feel like that would... If our opponent assumes we play freezes, it's not a good open attack plus pre-commit Battle Fury. Okay, it was never their plan apparently. Yeah, we just threatened Sivir here. Rite of Negation? Wouldn't be a good one. Okay. Could have somewhat played around it if I would have troll chanted Swain instead.
Business as usual.
I've got meat bigger than you.
Levy. Never lucky. Okay, so I want to avalanche and flock this round. And I don't want to avalanche yet. I might just have to slam it and then play Tavern Keeper afterwards. My opponent's been playing very passive so far. I assume if I play Tavern Keeper, they'll just keep passing. It's funny. Hell-bent on protecting Sivir. This thing is still scary if we don't find a Guillotine or Scorched Earth. Just because of the threat of Battle Fury. I think I attack here though. I can force it to block. If they troll chant, they don't have Battle Fury next round anymore. Okay, 2-7 Swain. 2-7 Swain, do you attack? I don't think so. It would give me Ice Shard as an additional great draw. It's not worth it though, there's no threat of Battle Fury.
Know your place.
Three Sisters Entomb? Nah, it would be Three Sisters Fury, I think. Ah, they do run Shaped Stone after all. That's fine though. Rite of Negation, they already had two. Playing triple Rite of Negation would just be poor deck building, I'm pretty sure.
Stands beneath me and winds behind me.
I don't care about Trundle having vulnerable.
King
here, you're moving.
Jesus, the non-stop pressure.
You got to come online more often so I can keep subbing. How are you anyhow?
Thank you, Sharky. I'm doing fine. I'm doing great. Just trying to crack this meta.
Out of the way.
I go!
And now Battle Fury is scary but not devastating. If they don't pre-commit, I probably let it go through. What's up, Baja? Strongest deck right now? Depends on what you're good at playing. I guess Darkness? Why Trundle with Swain? Trundle is much better in a Demacia infested meta. Rather, Trundle is better against Demacia than Gnar in most cases.
Gonna catch the sky!
Let's talk about your task.
Levy into Swain. And this thing will be chain stunned.
Destination in sight.
That's a card.
The trolls are going to war.
And the only thing that can threaten me at this point is my opponent replaying another Overwhelm and having another Battle Fury, I guess.
By my hand, the Noxus rise. Grand General.
How lethal is this attack? Let's see. Swain gets blocked here. We would push 5, 12. Levy would finish. We sacrifice the pillar, which is fine. If we lose Swain to a Three Sisters, it's devastating though. I think it's end round.
Patience is a tactician's greatest tool. Artillery barrage.
So what's Sivir plus... No, it's not Sivir. It's Ruin Runner plus Battle Fury specifically that beats us. Press A, click space. Win game. Been a while since I did this. Braum cosplay. Oh, wait until you see a real Braum cosplay. It's gonna be glorious. Pillar attack, yes. Mental warfare. Always gotta establish dominance.